Good evening, YouTube model railroader fans. I'm Ray. Welcome to the Boeville, Newtown's vlog number 18 for 2016. Happens to be August the 28th. Just double checking. Yep, August the 28th, 2016. Let me fix this. There we go. No, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been in. You know, just the normal stuff. This is actually going to be a combination vlog and a little, I guess, for lack of a better term, an overview of the locomotive that I picked up, which I showed on the last video. I'm not going to go into the different things, or I'm not going to go into unboxing it and so on, because that's already been done. You all have seen it run, so, but that's the second part of this video, or this vlog. The first part of the vlog is going to be just catching up on a couple things. Big thing is the fact that I'm still looking into doing some stuff on here. I've got some decent feedback on the last vlog where I talked about where I want to try and keep the present layout as it is up and running while I start the expansion. And I don't know when that's actually going to happen, but I was looking into some other things the other day, and there is a possibility that I'll be able to do some expansion while this thing is sitting here, so we'll see how that works out. Obviously, you know, when it comes time, you know, this thing is going to get stripped down and actually redone somewhat. You know, it'd be closer to a model railroad instead of a play toy. Right now, it's still, as far as I'm concerned, a play toy. But that's neither here nor there. You know, I've got what I've got. I continue to play around and mess around with what I've got, and we'll go on from there. So, anyway, a couple of things, or actually, I know according to the live show, apparently Google is going ahead and stopping their live show stuff, which means that, you know, the Hangouts and the live show are probably going to have to, or actually they don't have a choice, they're going to have to switch to another media to be able to run. You know, I was kind of spitting some stuff over to Big Bill. I know they were supposed to have a meeting this week. I haven't seen any type of updates from them, you know, be it Big Bill or Barry or anybody else from the YouTube model builders, so I don't know where that's going to end up. You know, I'm sure we'll be hearing more about it as the time draws closer, but, you know, it sucks. And I'm sure we're going to be able to figure something out and find some way to keep our community going, even if it is just doing what we do here, which is, you know, doing the vlogs and so on and so forth. It really doesn't help that much, because the only way we're going to see what, if anybody asks you any type of a question, is if you get an email. So, you know, it kind of sucks this way, but, you know, we'll deal with it. Adversity is just one of those things in life. It's a roadblock. It's a speed bump, and we just move around it or find some way around it, and we'll keep on trucking. Hopefully those that are smarter than I am figure that one out. and we can continue to do what we do. So I think that's basically all I've really got. So I think what we're going to do at this point is we're going to dig into this Proto 2000. This here was, or is, let me go grab the box, even though I said I wasn't going to use the box. This is an original lifelike Proto 2000. This isn't one of the Walthers ones. This here is actually from Lifelike, when he used to be downtown Baltimore, literally right down the road from me. This here is a E7 painted up for the Wabash. Now, I've already gone ahead and I've changed out the front pilot, which was unique. You basically have, there's little tabs on the sides here, and what you have to do is you literally have to push in and that one there just popped. This pilot doesn't sit as nice as the other one it does, and I think I'm going to go ahead and switch it back over, because the other one's probably going to be more in tune for what I'm going to be doing anyway. So what we'll do, it's just held on with little tabs on the insides. So you just have to push the frame together, the shell together, and the pilot pops out. And then what you do is you just kind of roll it back in there, and there's a tab on the front and then a tab on the sides, and you just line everything back up and press it together. There's one side, and there's the other side. I just heard them both snap, so that's back in place. So that's that's one pilot, and this one here is the other one. The one that I just took off doesn't allow you to put the doors on. This one here actually has doors that you can put on. The problem is I haven't figured out how they're supposed to stay in place. There's no like hinges or anything like that. They just kind of sit there. I guess you're supposed to glue it. Well, if you glue it, you can't get it back apart. So I don't think I'm going to worry about that. Anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to leave him on. Now, one of the things that I just came across that I didn't realize is this is kind of cool. The door's actually open. I don't know how well that's going to show up on here, but the doors actually open on this locomotive. And it's not just these ones on the side. There's a good shot. It goes right through. It's not just the ones on the side, but the one in the back as well. And apparently they give you some sort of a door puller, and I'm not sure how you're supposed to work this. They said stick it in the tab and pull, and I'm like, what tab, and what are you talking about? So I'm guessing there must be some sort of a catch on this thing, and that's what that's for. So that's great. They've got these other little what they call, I guess, car cutters. When you get there's a little bar that goes across the back. I'm not going to put them on because apparently you have to have the shell back on the frame before you do that. So I'm not going to do that at this moment. Now, over to the frame, and one of the things that they did is they actually, one of these days I'm going to fix this bench. Anyway, one of the things that was unique is they actually sent it with this gas tank, and this one here was an extra. Now, you can see that the one on, well, yeah, that was good, right? This one here is on my right, this one's on my left. My right, this is the one that came on the locomotive. This here's the spare. And they, I guess, from what they say, this is like a long distance version, so this is the one we're going to stick on. So they said that the longer L, or the one with the L, goes towards the rear of the locomotive, so that's what we're going to do, and it just literally just sits on there. They apparently had double-sided tape that held the thing on there, and supposedly it's supposed to stay that way, and it doesn't seem to want to move, so that's a good thing. Now, as most of you are aware, and I think we've brought this up numerous times, but I am going to try to discuss this a little bit. On the back here, as soon as I find something that I can point with, on the back here you have your DCC board, and from what little I do know of DCC, and from what I just saw of Derek Glass's video with that one soundboard that he just put together, it looks to me like this just comes out and you would actually put your DCC board in. Now obviously, since I'm DC, I don't have to worry about that. This thing just runs as it is. So that's that. One of the other interesting things here, was the fact that this locomotive, it came with a standard hook horn on the back and a KD on the front, or a similar knuckle coupler. What I found interesting is actually in the box there's actually another KD, another pair of KD couplers in there. So this thing could be obviously converted to KDs, which for me, not going to happen right now. That's another project somewhere down the road. Now, one of the other things I found fascinating with this locomotive is the fact that not only obviously do the trucks turn, but the coupler pocket also moves. So this thing is really designed to go around some tighter curves, which is nice, considering the fact that I do have 18-inch radius on my layout as it sits. Of course, the passenger line is 22. So, and we've seen that it runs rather nicely around that. Things that I find interesting with this locomotive, it's, for what it is, it's extremely well detailed for as old as it is. I mean, we're probably, oh, let's see, when was this printed? And of course, it's not going to tell me. Nowhere on here does it tell me. So nowhere on the paperwork does it tell me. Does it tell me anywhere on the box? It does not. Oh, it tells you here. Oh, it tells you that it's equipped with a DCC plug. So I would imagine that's what that is on the. Maybe that's what that is on the back. That's only 8 pins though, but since I'm not DCC, it doesn't bother me. Of course, like I said, nowhere on here does it tell you when this was manufactured. That's really nice. That's great. Okay. So anyway, back to the. Sorry. One of the things that I mentioned. A couple of things that I had mentioned with this. Obviously, like I said, the detail for what it is a Proto 2000. It's not an MTH or, you know, something of that nature, but to me it's rather well detailed. As you can see, you've got the radiator screens in here. There's actually plastic in the windows for the locomotive. On top, again, you've got your radiator louvers. You know, the diaphragm on the back actually moves back and forth. So that for what it is rather well detailed. And actually up in here, you can see, maybe, if I get my fingers out of the way and actually get this thing into the light, there is an engineer or conductor and engineer up in here. So, you know, eventually I'll get those guys painted to make them look a little bit better, because obviously having them in black on here just isn't going to do it. But, and, you know, to put the thing back together, let's just go ahead and slide that in there. Of course, it would help if I got things lined back. There we go. Alright. So everything is lined back up. This is a rather heavy locomotive for what it is, surprisingly enough. And the thing of it is, too, is these details that are on here aren't just molded on. They are actually, I mean, they're a part of the locomotive, but it's not just simulated. It actually is. It's actually there. The handrails, you know, the handrails around the doors themselves, as we've talked about before. I don't want to actually do it with that. The doors actually do open, even the door on the back. So, very well detailed locomotive, very good running locomotive. I'm rather impressed. Of course, then again, this is the third Proto 2000 that I've got. My other two are the older BL2s, which are very nice as well. I'm noticing some little flaws on this thing that I didn't notice when I first pulled it out of the package. No concerns, but I did buy it used, and I'm beginning to see the used part of it, if you catch my drift. So it wasn't brand new. I can tell now that it was used. Not abused, but it was used, which is no big deal to me. I mean, no, it is what it is. That's when you buy older stock, you expect that. But it's what I wanted. It's what I needed. So I've got it. So, like I said, overall, I'm impressed with it. it definitely suits what I was looking for. It definitely gives me what I needed. It's obviously one of the bigger locomotives that I've got. Although, it still doesn't match up with the... how close is it to the GG1 here? No, it's pretty stinking close. The GG1 still outranks it a little bit. I'm sure that the E33 and it are probably, yeah, the E33 and it are pretty close. And these are things that I may end up doing sometime in the future. Actually, it's bigger than the E33. Not by much. But is going through some of my locomotives, because I know I went through and took pictures of them all. I just don't have them, you know, I haven't actually put them on the layout and shown them running or talk about them or what have you. And of course, a bunch of them are much older. So, with that being said, oh, that's the other thing, is the fact that this here does have a Mars light, which is really cool. It's the first locomotive that I've ever gotten that's got a Mars light, so that's neat. Anyway, so with that being said, folks, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one a night. Trying to keep these at 15 minutes or less, and I'm up to 16 minutes, so... but we had a little bit to cover, and to basically go ahead and talk about the E7 again, and go over it a little bit closer. So you all know the deal. You wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you next time. Keep them safe out there, folks. We'll see you.